it's not only politicians that are waiting with abated breath as to what announcements will President Cyril Ramaphosa make tonight when he delivers his State of the Nation address. All sectors are all eyes on this upcoming SONA tonight. Business and labor are also waiting with abated pressure. Joining me now is COSATU's national spokesperson, Matthew Parks. Thank you so much for your time. What would make COSATU smile, that announcements that are made by the President?
Look, our number one crisis is the unemployment rate. I think we'd really want to hear bold measures by the President to give more support to Eskom to ensure we really overcome load shedding once and for all. There's been good progress on that front. I think critically is to give more support to Transnet. If you can get Transnet fully operational, delivering our exports to the markets in time from mining, from manufacturing, from agriculture, that helps to create jobs, it helps to protect jobs, bring revenue to the state. Similarly, we need to see Metro Rail being given support too, because that helps 10 million commuters, mostly workers, get to work on time. We see many municipalities in a terrible state, not paying workers, not paying pension funds, not providing basic services. So a real plan of action to help arrest the decline of municipalities, as well as other state-owned enterprises. And whilst we do this, we also need to make sure that we spend the infrastructure program. There's about 943 billion rand given for infrastructure, but we're not seeing it being spent fast enough. We need to see more also being done to mobilize resources for industrialization, for SMEs, because that's ultimately key to growing the economy. The amount of money we put there is a drop in the ocean. We should be saying, how do we get the banks, the private sector on board to fund SMEs, to fund industrialization? And whilst we do this, we need to also ramp up public employment programs. We've been amazed how government has been cutting over the years the amount of funds given to the presidential promise stimulus, to the community works programs. And when we have 12 million people who can't find work, we should be throwing everything we possibly can at getting people to working, earning a salary, getting the skills and experience that are required to find work. So I think for us, we really hope to hear a Marshall Plan. We can call it a Madiba Plan or Matamela Plan, but that says we're going to make South Africa a construction site, we're going to get the economy growing, we're going to get people working. And if you do that, then our other issues will begin to be resolved. And of course, you can't keep cutting the state. We need to give the state the resources it requires to fund public services which society and the economy depend upon.
There are threats that AGOA perhaps may be withdrawn by the United States. What advice would you give to the President in order for him to restore the relations between the US and South Africa?
Look, geopolitics is very complicated always. We're dealing with a messy world. These are factors outside of our control. Our advice and our engagement to the government is for the President to engage with the US President to explain how things really are in South Africa, that what people see on Twitter is fake news, it's not true. There's no mass confiscation land. White people are not being slaughtered in the thousands. And if people like AfriForum can't be patriotic and loyal to South Africa, that's a pity. Government needs to engage with the US to manage issues. We would not want to see us being exited from AGOA because thousands of jobs in mining, in manufacturing, agriculture, and the clothing industry are linked to it. But we also need to see how do we expand or diversify our trade relations with other countries, with the Europeans, with China, with Russia, most strategically with Africa as well, because that's ultimately where our future lies. But also we must get our own house in order as a country, because if our house is messy, then we'll be vulnerable to threats from other countries. And issues like the funding we receive for PEPFAR, for HIV/AIDS programs, we really need to insource those activities as a country. Those are public services. We must find space in the fiscus to resolve that. So we're not also caught flat-footed when there's geopolitical turbulence, which there always will be. But we're confident the President can resolve the issues. We must give him the space to do so. And we've seen many people saying that the Expropriation Act is actually a very calm, sober, pragmatic, and a constitutionally sound legislation. It's a pity that we get sucked into other countries' political theatre. But I think we must manage it tightly, and we're confident the President can do so.
Coming back home, how can we improve efficiencies within government, trimming the fat, so that we do the basic things first?
So the South African Revenue Service and even Eskom have shown you how you can fix the state. They were both at the epicenter of state capture and corruption under Jacob Zuma's administration. But we've seen with SARS, if you appoint competent management, if you remove corrupt and criminal elements, if you fill critical frontline vacancies, if you invest in the infrastructure and the capacity of the institution, it can deliver. SARS has taken us from a 61% tax compliance rate to 64%. That's an extra 60 billion rand of money owed to the state to fund home affairs, schools, and so forth. So build upon that model. There's no shortcuts. There's no, political theatres we can resolve. You've got to do the basics. The same thing with Eskom as well.
All right. Thank you so much. Matthew Parks is COSATU's national spokesperson.